They used to call it NAFTA. We're going to call it the United States Mexico trade agreement.
In an announcement from the Oval Office today, Donald Trump revealing the U.S. and Mexico have reached a bilateral understanding on trade, months into NAFTA negotiations aimed at modernizing the 24-year-old pact. Not included in the new tentative deal this morning, Canada. During the U.S. president's roughly 20 minutes in front of cameras, his first mention of Canada didn't come until 7.5 minutes in. Mexico's president, though, who joined the announcement on the phone, brought up our country repeatedly, and he stuck with the NAFTA name.
It is our wish, Mr. President, that now Canada will also be able to be incorporated in all this.
Canada will start negotiations shortly. I'll be calling the Prime Minister very soon.
The Prime Minister's office confirming Justin Trudeau spoke with Mexico's president yesterday, saying in a statement the leaders discussed the ongoing negotiation of NAFTA and shared their commitment to reaching a successful conclusion to this agreement for all three parties.
President Trump made it sound like it's a done deal between Mexico and the U.S.
John Geddes from Maclean's magazine says it's not clear if Trump could even get a bilateral deal between the U.S. and Mexico off the ground.
To renegotiate NAFTA, he had to go to Congress last summer, a year ago, and ask for permission. What he asked for permission for was to revise and modernize a three-way trade deal. He didn't ask permission to cut 2 bilateral deals or 1 bilateral deal with Mexico.
A key NAFTA negotiator for Canada is Minister of Foreign Affairs Chrystia Freeland, and she just happens to be out of not only the country, but out of North America today, visiting Germany. Before Trump's announcement, a spokesperson for Freeland saying in a statement, progress between Mexico and the U.S. is a necessary requirement for any renewed NAFTA agreement. We are in regular contact with our negotiating partners, and we will continue to work towards a modernized NAFTA. We will only sign a new NAFTA that is good for Canada and good for the middle class. An update from Freeland today. She is ending her trip abroad early, now set to fly to Washington tomorrow to rejoin NAFTA talks. So what do all of these developments mean for the average Canadian? That was another question we put to John Geddes from Maclean's.
Sure, the average Canadian is going to think, oh my goodness, the Americans are playing hardball here in a big way. Canada's going to have to cave. The truth is, if we think back over the last year, the Americans have played hardball a number of times. The president, if you'll recall, after the G7 summit in June, saying unbelievable things about Canada, and particularly about the Prime Minister. Hardball from this White House, at least rhetorical hardball, is not new. The question is whether or not this time it's followed up by really hardcore negotiating tactics, like, slapping a tariff on Canadian cars would be the ultimate in hardball. Whether it's followed up by that or whether the White House Trump is just trying to turn up the heat, that remains to be seen.